The plains of sub-Saharan Africa are a dangerous place for mid to smallish-sized mammals. There are lots of predators that want to make a meal out of you and your posterity. For the honey badger, there is no middle ground. It's all or nothing. Don't let its name fool you. The badger is always ready to put up its dukes and fight to the death with anything that rubs it the wrong way. To be this aggro, the honey badger needs to have some interesting tools in its survival kit that can only be described here in Life, Death, and Taxonomy.
Welcome back to Life, Death, and Taxonomy. It's your 30 minutes of interesting animal info. I'm Joe.
And I'm Carlos.
And
Threw you for a loop there.
And today we're talking about the John Wick of weasels. And like John Wick, you don't want to get in its way. But more on that later.
Weasel Wick.
You weaselly wabbit. We're talking about the honey badger.
It's delicious.
Yes.
Goes well on crackers.
Yeah.
Peanut butter.
It's a species with much celebrity.
Yeah, you've probably heard of this animal. The honey badger is known as the rattle, the ratel.
Yeah.
I literally saw it pronounced both ways in the International Phonetic Alphabet. So
I've heard
it
rattle.
both ways. But yeah, we're gonna call it here HB, the badger who lived.
Okay.
Just a little bit. And then badgers, crush your larynx. It's badgers.
Honey badger. The badger who lived.
Come to die. Begin. That movie gets so weird.
That character gets so weird.
That character does get very weird. That character being he who must not be named, a.k.a. Voldemort. But we're not talking about Voldemort. But we're talking about something that's pretty darn close to as deadly. The honey badger. Why don't you tell us about where it lives in the taxonomic world?
The taxonomic world?
Let's
make a pax with science and learn about taxonomy. It's in the kingdom you know, love, and are in. The kingdom Animalia.
I knew it.
Let it never not be.
Okay.
The phylum Chordata. The class Mammalia.
Knew it.
The order Carnivora. These are all very familiar.
It's just crazy that things can be carnivores, but not in the order Carnivora. Because if you're not a mammal, but you're a carnivore, then you're not in Carnivora.
It's in the family Mustelidae. And I think that's like weasels and also woozles.
It's like wolverines.
Weasels, badgers, otters, ferrets, martins, minks, wolverines. Yeah, all your...
Is a mongoose in there?
I don't think so. I think the mongoose was in something else. Anyway, it's in a subfamily if you want to know about that. Melivorinae. I'm liking these pretty frenetic ones.
Yeah, they're very frenetic.
The genus is Mellivora.
Mellivora. Liver.
I'm thinking Mellivora is more correct time. For the first time ever.
That sounds very nice.
And the species is Capensis? Capensis?
Capensis, yeah.
Mellivora capensis.
That's Mellivora capensis and then honey badger. Just sounds like a beautiful animal.
It's like the cellar door of animals.
Yeah.
Of binomial names.
It sounds like the name of just some sort of like floral bird. A bird that wears flowers. Or that looks like a flower.
A floral bird. A bird of paradise. I guess that's a floral bird.
Yeah.
So, you want to hear about where it lives? You mentioned already in the intro that it lives in sub-Saharan Africa, but it also lives in the Middle East and in India. So it's got a pretty wide...
It's all over the place.
Yeah, it's got a wide range.
Because once you get yourself like an infestation of honey badgers, it's going to be tough to root them out.
Yeah, especially since they're pretty versatile in terms of where they can live. They can live in a variety of habitats from sea level to mountain areas. So, yeah.
They probably do a lot better in the Middle East and probably in India where there are fewer things they have to fight.
Yeah.
Than they do in Africa.
But there's also fewer people in like the desert.
I suppose, yeah.
If you're driving, I do not recommend looking up a picture, so I will tell you what it looks like. I'll paint a picture in your mind's eye. The honey badger has a long body with a thick, powerful build.
Like the Tasmanian devil.
Longer.
Longer?
Yeah.
Ooh, I'll probably have to...
And the head is smaller. So they have short, thick fur that's white on their backs from the top of their head to the end of their short, bushy tail.
Like a skunk.
Yes. Very similar to a skunk, only a little bit more wide
and
over their back.
Skunks have long tails.
Yeah. Their face, limbs, and belly are black or dark brown. They have short, stocky legs, powerful claws, and a long neck with a relatively small head, where like the Tasmanian devil has a large head. Like a weasel, you know. You're thinking a long creature, long neck, small head.
It's like a wide weasel.
Yeah, a wide weasel.
A wide weasel wick.
A wide weasel. Okay. They also have short eyes. Small eyes. I said short eyes and small ears. What I meant to say was small eyes and short ears, which are believed to be adaptations for protecting those vital face things.
They're harder to hit.
When you're in fighting, yeah. Harder to hit. And they don't stick out. So, like, that brings us to a very special part of the description, which is the show within the show. The listener's favorite part of the show, until proven otherwise.
I'd like to sick a honey badger on this segment.
The part of the show called Measure Up, which is where we convey the animal's size and other dimensions in relatable terms in the form of a quiz, which I posed to Carlos. That is just frankly unfair.
I'm gonna nail this.
I'll say it.
I'm feeling good about this.
It's also the part of the show that is sometimes introduced by you, the listener. And this week, the Measure Up is introduced by Emily. Without further ado, the listener's favorite part of the show. Enthusiastic.
Fun,
yeah. I like it. It's good. High quality.
Notes of room.
Notes of room. Yeah.
It's very appropriate for this.
Yeah, because we're in a room.
We're in a room. She was probably in a room.
Yeah, and you're probably listening to either in a room.
Or a room that's on wheels.
Or a room that's on wheels. Yeah. Or maybe outside, but, you know.
Which is God's room.
Yeah.
That he made for you.
That's right. So let's get started right into length. The honey badger is between 55 centimeters and 55 and 77 centimeters. Or 22 and 30 inches. Let's just call it a 30 inches. Nice round number. How many honey badgers go into the largest recorded beehive? Here's a hint.
What?
The
length of a
beehive. The hive was found in Utah, which is apparently sometimes called the Beehive State. The hive itself was home to around 60,000 honeybees, which is a third of the population of Salt Lake City.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So it's 1.5 feet long. Or 2.5 feet long. That's
yes.
what I meant to say. I imagine a beehive can get... I mean, I'm picturing this cartoon, you know, like upside down, teardrop segmented thing with like a little door in it.
Yeah.
That Winnie the Pooh shoves his meaty paws into to steal the honey. But that's probably not what the biggest beehive looks like. It's probably this big, like, fungal-looking amalgamation of, like, just horror.
Yeah.
That stretches quite a bit. I'm going to say...
Macaulay Culkin's nightmare.
He hates bees?
He was in another movie where he hates bees.
He is in no other movies.
Yeah, he's in My Girl.
He doesn't...
Which is a very sad movie about bees.
He's never been in any other movies. So I'm going to say... I'll say 15 feet. It's probably a lot longer, but I have no reference. So we're going to go 15 feet. This thing is 2.5 feet long, which would put it at 6.
6 badgers.
6 badgers. End to end make up this whole honey hive.
The beehive is actually 12 feet long.
Whoa, it was close.
And it's 4.8 badgers.
Wow. I thought it was I thought I was going to guess 15. It was going to be like 47 feet long or something like that. This huge.
No, that's a decent. I would have thought this is the biggest honey bee hive.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows? Maybe there's a bee out there that makes a bigger hive, but
okay.
Here's the weight of a typical male. The typical male is larger than the female by a few pounds, which it's 9 to 16 kilograms or 20 to 35 pounds. How many honeybees go into the weight of a male honey badger?
Oh my.
Here's a hint. A single honeybee can produce a tablespoon of honey in its lifetime. Also, the Utah hive had about 15 pounds of bees in it.
So 12 foot of hive has 15 pounds of bees in it.
Yeah. If you were paying attention to the hint, I told you exactly how many bees lived in that hive.
You said 600,000 or something like that.
Something like that.
15. Okay. I'm not going to do this math in my head. I'm not.
Get out a calculator.
It's
I'll
cheating.
allow it.
Will you?
Yeah, for sure.
Even though, well, okay, fine. But since this is still the listener's favorite part of the show, maybe we should find out if they care if I use a calculator.
Yeah. Well, we have a lot of polls to do.
Yeah, like, is this still the listener's favorite part of the show?
I'm sure it is.
Mostly because you're going to cut out me silently on my calculator.
Yeah, I don't think it would be the listener's favorite part of the show if I didn't edit this part of the show at all. There's a lot of, like, thinking silently.
I like my answer.
I'm just watching honey badgers fight.
All right. The calculator has spoken. 1,200,000. 1.2 million.
Can you explain how you got to that? I know, like, we don't like talking about math that much.
I took 15 pounds and divided it by 600,000 bees.
Right.
And then I multiplied that number, which was 0.000025, by 30 pounds.
So it was 60,000 bees. Not 600,000 bees.
Oh. So is the answer 120,000 bees?
140,000 bees.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I just remembered it incorrectly. I remembered the number of bees.
That was good. That was a good segment.
Wasn't it great?
It was great. Now let's move on to some fast facts.
Yes, please.
Honey badgers are solitary animals, but they may hunt in pairs during mating season. They will eat just about anything, including insects, frogs, tortoises, turtles, lizards, rodents, snakes, and birds, and eggs. But their favorite food is honey. They're actually, in terms of in their family, they're the most diverse eaters, second only to the wolverine. Wolverines eat more things. They're skilled diggers and dig burrows that range between 3 and 10 feet deep. Badgers can dig burrows in as little as 10 minutes. That's faster than me.
Yeah. Unless you had like a crane.
Yeah. They don't dig. They don't place bedding in burrows because bedding is for dandy aardvarks and moles, and real badgers sleep in the dirt and like it.
The rocks bring character.
They do. You don't get to be as tough and sassy as they are without sleeping straight in the dirt. If you're thinking their lack of perfect sleepers means they're primitive creatures, then you're wrong. They are one of the few animals of their kinds to use tools, particularly when it comes to reaching new heights, both in a innovative sense and also literally. They've been observed rolling logs to stand on to reach prey. And then when enclosed, they have been seen propping up sticks, rakes, and heaps of mud and stone to escape captivity.
Huh.
So they use ladders, and they understand how to move them into place.
They even understand that they need them.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
They look at I can't get up there. I need something to help me get up there.
They're problem solvers.
That's right.
They're corporate go-getters.
That's right. They are. In more ways than one. Especially since corporate go-getters are usually aggressive.
Aggressive sharks.
And speaking of aggression, honey badgers are strong, ferocious, and tireless hunters and fighters. When their territory is intruded upon, they will attack anything, including large animals like lions and horses. And you remember they're 2.5 feet long, and they're going after a horse that's trampling on their tunnel. Horses are large,
mm-hmm.
So they may even chase large predators like lions away from their kills. Not from the honey badger's kills, from lions' kills. They'll walk up on a lion, like eating a gazelle he, like, fought
He's
and
like,
brought down.
"Hey, bub, this is my gazelle now. Look at me. I am the captain now."
Yeah, that's right. They're so feared in the animal kingdom that large predators are unlikely to hunt them. Sometimes a lion or even a leopard will hunt a honey badger, but those cases are pretty rare. Because of this reputation, some researchers believe that cheetah cubs have a similar counter shading as an adaptation to mimic honey badgers. So if you look up like cheetah cubs, they, like really young ones especially, have dark under their bellies and then light, longer fur on their tops. So they look shaded like a honey badger. And they think that might be because, like, when a predator sees a bunch of cubs in a thicket, they may not want to risk it actually being a bunch of honey badgers that are going to be grumpy and come after them.
And belligerent. I wonder why other like leopard cubs have not developed that, if that's the situation.
Leopards are just generally more powerful and ferocious when it comes to being a predator. Cheetahs are pretty skittish and pretty, like, small and thin and weak compared to hyenas, lions, and leopards. So they might need a little bit more.
But the cubs,
Mom isn't as powerful.
defensive.
Yeah. So that's what I got.
You don't have anything about the I think it was called a honey guide?
Oh, how they follow
Yeah.
a specific bird to find honey.
It didn't say the bird, but there are birds that look for honey, and the badger will follow. If it sees a bird, it will follow it to the honey.
Yeah. So
And the bird will lead the badger to the honey, knowing that the badger will
wreck it up.
Will wreck it Ralph, and then the bird can go and have its fill afterward.
Smart birds.
Smart on both the bird's part and the badger's part.
Working together.
Yeah, there's some synergy for you.
They're like a corporate shark would like.
Corporate synergy.
Yes.
From the shark, the land shark. That's a land shark. Not quite. It's more like the lion's more like a land shark.
Yeah.
Actually, no, the leopard's more like a land shark because it's a solitary hunter that ambushes its prey.
That's right.
But, okay, so all of these things make the honey badger cool. But how is it possible that this 2.5-foot weasel can chase off horses and cattle and lions and leopards?
I assume because it just believes in itself.
It does. That it does. But have you ever seen that video of the cat that fends off an alligator?
Yeah.
I think there's just this, like, Napoleon complex in animals sometimes that works.
Well, that's that's like one of our only defenses against, like, bears and stuff like that.
Is
standing your ground.
Yeah.
And pretending like you know what you're doing.
Well, it's like
you're not terrible at fighting bears.
He's probably very good at fighting bears in particular.
He's not running, so he must be good at fighting bears.
A bear categorizes everything into two things. Things that run away and things that are good at fighting bears.
It's probably true. Trees are great at fighting bears, according to the bears.
Well, it's like my dog will bark down much bigger dogs. He's a little Jack Russell Terrier, but he'll bark down a Doberman or something like that, and Doberman will cower just because, like,
it's all about confidence.
Yeah, you got to have that confidence.
Project a larger self.
You got to 10x your growth.
Yeah.
All right. So here's exactly where the honey badger gets its confidence. So HB is not an animal you want to tango with. Maybe waltz, tap, or square dance, but definitely not tango. Living in Africa, the honey badger has to contend with some of the world's largest and most dangerous predators, like you mentioned. Hyenas, leopards, and lions will sometimes make a meal out of it. They definitely pose a threat. But also Cape buffalo, horses, cattle, rhinos, the whole gamut lives where the honey badger lives in Africa.
Yeah.
So even though they're not trying to actively hunt the badger, they can pose a threat just by being giant and near their homes. And so whenever this happens, who do you think wins? Well, sometimes the lion. But for the most part, the badger wins just because out of sheer personality.
Yeah. I like to imagine that badgers went for years just being like small on the food chain, and they were like, no more. I've had enough. And they were just...
They unionized.
Yeah. Now they're powerful.
Well, like other mustelids, like wolverines, badgers are armed with sharp claws and powerful jaws to defend and attack. In fact, they can eat a tortoise, shell and all. Much like hyenas, they have really powerful jaws and can eat and digest everything from an animal, including the bones.
A bite from a honey badger would be really bad.
Very bad.
Because it's also in a small area.
Yeah,
so it's
like all that force in a smaller area.
Yeah.
But then it affects less area.
That's true.
So like a hyena might break your entire arm off.
Yeah.
Where a honey badger will
take off a finger.
Yeah, take off a finger easily. But unlike other mustelids, the honey badger has super skin. HB's skin is 1/4 of an inch thick. So like ours is very thin.
Yeah.
And theirs is, I'm holding up what is probably 1/4 of an inch. It's super thick.
And around their neck, it's even thicker.
Yeah. That's where you want to grab them. So it's incredibly thick and tough skin. Add some coarse hair to it, and you have a healthy hide that is tough enough to avoid being pierced by arrows, teeth, claws, and even machetes.
Yeah, I've heard that if you hit it with a machete, it will just be mad at you.
It doesn't ding off like it's made out of adamantium.
No, if you hit it hard enough, it might break a bone.
And it does go into the skin, but you probably are not going to draw blood on your first thwack.
No, and you better be prepared for retaliation.
Yeah, that's the honey badger's whole strategy is go ahead, try to bite me. It's also the skin is not only tough, but it's really loose, which is but it makes it so that if an animal has the badger in its mouth, it can twist around in its own skin and scratch the living daylights out of its face.
Oh, that's a nightmare. Sometimes if you're trying to get food out of a dog's mouth, they're really good at twisting around and stuff,
yeah.
But ratchet that up several notches.
You're trying to hold a dog. You remember those little gel? They're not gel.
Yes,
but
I know exactly what you're talking about.
They're pouches of semi-viscous liquid, and they have they're like donut. They have a thing in the middle, and the more you squeeze it, the more it tries to get out of your hands. It's just
it's really hard to hold it like this.
Yeah,
up and down.
Yeah, hold it vertically because it'll just slide out of your hand because it's constantly in flux.
Yeah,
that's what it's like to try to bite down on a honey badger. Just imagine that little pouch wanted to scratch your throat out. So yeah, it makes it really tough to hold them. So they can take a decent hit and then deliver several hits in response. I read that they sometimes just die from, because if you get bit by a hyena, it might not pierce your skin, but it's probably going to break most of your bones if you're 2.5 feet long.
Yeah.
So, but what it does is it teaches that hyena and all of the other hyenas that honey badgers are not to be trifled with.
Yeah.
On top of all that, it is also highly resistant to venom. Specifically bees.
Yeah.
Which is why it's the honey badger. So it can break into a hive, and all of these bees are trying to sting this giant badger that's
and they're
ripping into
they're
its
not
home.
Getting through the skin either.
Yeah, they can't even, their stingers don't even get all the way through that 1/4 of an inch of flesh. But it's also highly resistant to snake bites because it also has to contend with the king cobra, both in Africa and in India, and adders and things like that, black mambas. And a lot of the times the snake's fang doesn't make it through the skin, but if it does, it still will be able to carry on for a little bit. They notice that if it does get through the skin, the badger will eventually pass out, but after 10 minutes. So it has 10 minutes to kill the snake, which is more than enough time.
Yeah, but I also saw a video where it fights with a cobra, gets bit, and then passes out and wakes up.
Yeah, they
sleep it off.
Yeah, it's like power nap.
Yeah.
Get bit, kill a cobra, power now, 10x.
Sleep in the dirt. I love it.
Sleep in the dirt. Who's a shark? I'm a shark.
Coffee is for honey badgers.
Put the honey down. Honey is for closes or openers. You got to open a hive.
Yeah.
So apparently the idea is that, like the mongoose, if it's bit enough times, it will die. But it will have more than enough time to kill and eat the snake. Because snakes usually rely on, hey, I bit you, you're done, right?
Yeah.
Like, the fight over. What are you doing, bro?
Stop it. You're cheating.
Thought I had this all planned out.
It's like when kids are playing sword fight. I got you. No, I did. I got you. I cut that arm off.
Like paintball, where the paintball doesn't explode. It still counts. Like, you got him.
Yeah.
But it didn't explode. Using frozen paintballs. Cheating.
Dangerous.
Yeah. So add to all of this, all of the tools of the trade, the fact that the badger is fearless, tireless, and tenacious. And you have one bad mamma jamma on your hands.
Badger.
Yeah. So, in reference to how it interacts with humans, especially farmers who have like chicken coops and stuff like that, the badger will go on a killing spree. It can rip planks off, it can climb over fences and
It can
dig
use
underneath
sticks
things
to reach new heights.
Yeah, so it gets into the chicken coop and doesn't just. You'd think it would eat a chicken or two and leave, but no, it'll kill all your chickens
and eat all the eggs.
Yeah. So it goes on a wanton killing spree.
Does it leave carcasses and just walk away, or does it just try and
I think it's like,
out,
I'm gonna kill all these things and I'm gonna hang out until I've eaten them all, and then usually humans will go and try to chase it away. But good luck trying to chase this thing away. It fights buffalo.
That would be what would you do?
There's a game called Far Cry 4, a video game, where you play in the in
Malaysia,
like Nepal area, and one of the most formidable enemies you will fight is a honey badger. You have to fight tigers and bears and wolves, and those things you can shoot at. The honey badger takes so many bullets to take down in this video game. It's crazy, and they're so small, and they do a lot of damage. They live up to their reputation even in the digital world.
So what would happen if you did shoot it?
They die.
Okay, once?
In the head.
Okay, yeah. I mean, what if it was like a 22?
Yeah, if you took a 22 and shot it in 100 feet, you would probably just make it upset. But if you shoot it in the head with a shotgun or something like that from close range, you'll.
I feel like you have to have a shotgun then in that situation.
Yeah. Also, you
can't go at it with a broom. That's not gonna work.
Yeah, you can't. You're not gonna scare this thing away. You can't. It's not like a coyote or something where you can just yell and make noise and it'll run away. It's like, oh no, I'll fight you.
It's like I have 6 chickens now. This is my home.
I don't even have to dig. Yeah. You made me a house.
Thank you. And also go away.
But yeah, also the farmers have tried to sick dogs on it, and that turns out poorly for the dogs.
Oh no.
One thing I read was that the way that a badger will take down much larger prey or enemies is to castrate it.
That's right, yeah.
And then let it bleed out, which is just... It's a shark.
New to your pets.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because the honey badger might attack
it doesn't make it safe from the honey badger, but it makes it safe from the honey badger's kill move.
Right, yeah.
But it's just so small. How's it going to get a horse? It's got to jump up and hit something.
I did see a video of a wolverine trying to take down a deer, and they jump. They'll jump at the neck. So it's from a distance, and it's almost comical. You see this little wolverine and this deer, a buck, and it just boop, jumps up, and it's the deer is freaking out and spinning around, and it's just on its face, and it's like a face hugger. It's terrifying and also adorable and also awful.
Terrible, adorable, awful. The circle of life.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But that's all I got.
That's all I got.
So for you out there in Podcastia, don't back down. Have confidence in your abilities. And 10x your growth like the honey badger in life, death, and taxonomy. Like the honey badger, we're clawing and biting our way to become the best darn animal podcast in town. And we won't go down without a fight. Help us in our struggle by leaving a review for our show on your favorite podcasting app, telling your friends and coworkers about us, or just sending us a message on Facebook or Twitter to let us know you care. Just look up LD Taxonomy anywhere, and we'll be there, waiting to hear from you. Please?
Life, Death, and Taxonomy is my favorite in the world podcast.
That can only be described here in Life, Death, and Taxonomy. I'm making quite a claim.
Yeah. You also say that, like, have said that we do wonders here before. Sing our praises, you've told people to do.
Yes.
It's, fake it till you make it, right?
Yeah.